presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox. We are Houston.
The Astros are back in Houston for a lengthy homestand, and it begins tonight with the New York Metropolitans in town. Fireballer Bud Norris tries to point the way as Astros bats will try to solve knuckleballer R.A. Dickey. Mets and Astros are next on Fox Sports Houston. Live from Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, Fox Sports Houston brings you Houston Astros baseball. Tonight, the Astros open a 9-game homestand. It's the first of 3 against the New York Mets. Good evening, everybody. Bill Brown and Jim Deshaies. The Mets and Astros both celebrating their 50th anniversary seasons. And now as they meet for the final time with the Astros as a National League club here, the Mets are getting a lot out of their start this year, J.D.
Indeed, they are 13-9 on the Mets, despite the fact they've been outscored by about 20 runs. So they're kind of the reverse of the Astros, who have outscored their opponents but have a losing record. The pitching matchup tonight is a contrast as well. The knuckleballer R.A. Dickey goes for the Mets. He's been very good this year. He's had one rough one. That's why the ERA is above 4, but 3 times very, very good. 22 strikeouts, almost all of them on the knuckleball. He throws it 80% of the time. Bud Norris, his game is all about power. Fastball, hard slider, rarely goes to the soft stuff. It's a swing and miss slider and a 93, 94 mile an hour fastball. So it's going to be fun to watch these two right-handers who go about it in very different ways tonight.
And as we get set for this matchup, Norris, who struck out 4 in 1 inning at Milwaukee in his last start to tie a Major League record, goes against the master of slow stuff, R.A. Dickey, and Bud Norris coming up next.
Astros baseball on Fox Sports Houston is brought to you by the Progressive Insurance Group. For a money-saving car insurance quote, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today. Well, it's a little bit overcast, but it's a beautiful night here in the ballpark. The roof is open, as you will be able to tell when we head inside. Fans are gathering, looking forward to this battle between the Astros and the Mets. The knuckleballer against the young guns of the Astros, and that will be an interesting matchup to be sure as the fans are getting set for it. As I said, we're going to have a great night for baseball for the fans in the stands and hopefully for the players as well. The Astros have taken the field, and so we're just about set to send things upstairs for the lineups and the first pitch. Here's Bill Brown and Jim DeShays.
Thanks, Greg. And we look at the New York Mets and their starting lineup for Terry Collins. It's brought to you by Hyundai. They go with left fielder Kirk Neuenhuis leading it off. He's been playing center. Ruben Tejada's a shortstop. Daniel Murphy at second base. David Wright at third. Ike Davis at first base. Mike Baxter in right field. Andres Torres returns from the disabled list to reclaim his center field spot and push Neuenhuis to left. It's Josh Tolley, the catcher, and R.A. Dickey, the pitcher.
Bud Norris making only his second home start so far this year. He's made 4 starts. He's 1-1 with a .584 ERA. 24 2/3 innings. He has struck out 22, walked 8. Those are good numbers. 5 home runs allowed and a .287 batting average, something he'd like to improve on a little bit. It's been a little bit of a bumpy ride for Bud so far. He gets defensive help from the likes of Buck Schaefer and Bogusevic in the outfield. Johnson Lowey, third and short. Altuve in the downs over there as Carlos Lee continues to nurse that bad ankle. Jason Castro is the catcher.
Umpires meeting is going longer than normal. Bud Norris is waiting for that group to move out of the way so he can throw some warm-up tosses. It's Gary Cederstrom wearing the mask tonight, working the plate. Lance Barksdale's at first base with Mike Muchlinski at second, and Houston native Adrian Johnson has third base. So Terry Collins, a former Astros skipper, back in town with the Mets club, which has gone 13-9, winning 5 of the last 6. His second year as Mets manager. And as the Astros skipper, he was here for some good seasons. That '94 year was tough to swallow here. The season interrupted by the strike when he had his club right in the thick of things. And then, of course, the season was not finished. Atlanta and Washington are 14-8. They tie for the NL East lead. New York is only a game behind at 13-9. And the Phillies are 10-12, and Miami's 8-14. And Terry Collins' club won 2 of 3 in Colorado. They won a real battle yesterday in 11 innings. They had a 4-0 lead. Todd Helton tied it with a grand slam, a pinch grand slam off former Astro Tim Burdack, and then the Mets gave up a run to tie it in the 10th, and they won it in the 11th inning. A long battle. It took them 4 hours and 1 minute. Bud Norris is 1-1, and against the Mets in his career, he's also 1-1.
Well, if it took him 4 hours to play that game, how long did it take him to play the 18-9 game they played the other night at Coors Field? Again, as Scott Harrison hit for the cycle, the Mets scored 9 runs, and they only got half as many points as the opposition.
Now, Bud Norris got his win at Washington on the 19th of April, and then last time out gave up 9 hits and 7 earned runs in 5 2/3 innings and a 9-6 loss at Milwaukee, and he allowed 3 homers in that game. So now as he starts against Kirk Neuenhuis, he faces a rookie who's made quite an impression. And he has really played well for the Mets, hitting .316. And Norris misses outside with ball 1. Neuenhuis with 2 homers and 6 runs batted in has outstanding numbers, and he made another diving catch in the game yesterday. He's ahead in the count. Neuenhuis with 2 balls, no strikes. Neuenhuis did not make the opening day roster, but he was recalled April 6th, right after opening day, with the injury to Andres Torres. And he's had a chance to play and really capitalized on it. Right there in the zone for a strike for Bud Norris. It's 2-1 for Bud. Bud making only his second start at home. In the first one, he was excellent against Colorado. Got a no decision, giving up 2 runs on 4 hits in 7 innings. Foul ball makes it 2 balls, 2 strikes.
This Met team, a very patient bunch. They draw a lot of walks. They take a lot of pitches. They're second in the league in batting average, second in on-base percentage, but only 9th in runs. They suffer from the same affliction as the Astros do, in that they don't hit a lot of home runs. Neuenhuis
has hit in 13 of his last 16 games. And he fouls that one back. Mets are 9th in runs scored. They're averaging 4 runs per game. But they really play well in the close games. Terry Collins' club winning another close one yesterday and is 6-1 in 1-run games and 3-0 in 2-run games. Norris missing there.
Just like if the Astros, no, he got him.
He did.
Bring him up.
Yeah. Gary Cedarstrom took a while and then he rang up strike 3.
Yeah, as I mentioned, the Mets take a lot of pitches, and this time Neuenhuis thought that ball was off the outside corner. It was borderline. So anyway, the point I was going to make about them, if the Mets continue to get outscored the way they are, there's no way they're going to be able to sustain this winning record. Similarly, if the Astros continue to outscore their opponent, they're going to be able to turn things around and win more games. It's just a matter of the sample size is small enough now where it doesn't manifest itself that way.
Right. Ruben Tejada looks at it. His strike 1 to Tejada. He had a big series, 10 for 17 at Colorado in those 3 games. Get his average up to 310. The appeal went to first base. He checked his swing on the Lance Barksdale call.
Yeah, he had a 4-hit game and 2 3-hit games in his last 3 starts. This kid's on quite a roll.
Last Mets shortstop to have 2 4-hit games in April was Jose Reyes in 07. And he replaced Reyes at short. Tejada, of course, not that kind of a talent, but still a pretty good player. And he already has 8 doubles. That ties him for 3rd in the league. He's only 22. He's from Panama. And last year, he didn't have a homer in 328 major league at bats. Almost had another double here, but that one just hooked foul. Norris pounds one, and that's strike 3. So he's got 2 called 3rd strikes to open this game.
Well, this patient approach that the Mets have taken this year that has served them well is not working out so well. First 2 hitters of this game rung up looking. You see number 4 there on Fox Tracks. Again, a pitch that could have gone either way, but Gary Cedarstrom with an early indication that he's going to have his generous zone tonight.
Yes. Now Daniel Murphy comes up, and he too has hit well. Ball 1 to Murphy, who sports a .311 batting average, and he has 28 hits. That's tied for 4th in the league. He had a 3-hit game on Saturday. Takes a strike, and it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count to Murphy.
Terry Collins has 5 left-handed bats in his lineup, plus a switch hitter in Andres Torres, so Bud will have to deal with a lot of lefty hitters here tonight. In the past, that has not been a problem.
Crack bat roller out to second. Jose Altuve takes it on over to Matt Downs at first for a 1-2-3 first for Bud Norris, and a broken bat to end it. Brought to you by Hyundai, and Brad Mills will go with lineup number 19 of the season. It's Jordan Schaefer in center field, Jose Altuve at second base, Jed Lowry batting third at shortstop, Travis Buck is the cleanup man and left fielder, with Matt Downs at first base for the injured Carlos Lee, Brian Bogasevic in right field, Chris Johnson at third base, Jason Castro the catcher, Bud Norris the pitcher.
And for the Mets, it's knuckleballer R.A. Dickey. He's made 4 starts this year, 3 of them really good, and 1 ugly one. It all adds up to a 3-1 record and a .444 earned run average.
Jordan Schaefer has been on base in all 22 Houston games to start the season. Club record is 25 to start the season. It's a big cut, strike one. Schaefer's put together a 6-game hitting streak, a batting average of .265, includes 2 homers, 8 runs batted in, and 15 runs scored for Jordan. His game was shortened yesterday. He was tossed out of the ball game in the second inning at Cincinnati after getting an infield hit. He was thrown out trying to steal and banged his helmet down. Then he said something to the umpire, who tossed him out. No balls, 2 strikes to Jordan. And Dickey gets a strikeout to open.
Schaefer coming up empty, attacking that knuckleball of R.A. Dickey, and as we mentioned, it's about 80% of the time that he's going to throw that knuckler. The old adage is, see it high, let it fly, see it low, let it go. And the outfield of the Mets features Neuenhuis, Torres, and Baxter. Infield of right, Tejada, Murphy, and Ike Davis. Totally charged with corralling that knuckleball tonight. Got the big mitt on there.
Jose Altuve takes a strike. .373 his average, 1 homer, 10 runs batted in, an excellent .418 on base average for Jose. Broken bat, it goes out to Tejada at shortstop, and that's the second out of the inning.
Typically with a knuckleballer on the mound, you see a lot of funky stuff because of the unpredictable late movement of that knuckleball. You'll see guys think they have it squared up and the ball will come in on their knuckles or out towards the end of the bat.
Two outs for Dickey. Jed Lowry will be next.
And whereas against a lot of starting pitchers, you might go into a game with a game plan of be patient, work the count, try to build a pitch count to get him out. With a knuckleballer, that's not an issue. Knuckleballer can stay out there, throw 150 pitches, and it's not going to affect him.
Lowry takes a knuckler. There's strike one to Jed, who had a 3 RBI game yesterday, including a homer at Cincinnati. .283 is his average. He's driven in 6. He hit 2 homers on the road trip. Grounds that one in. Playing very deep, Murphy on the outfield grass. That bought him some more range, and he needed it for out number 3. No base runners through 1.
Level, wanting to remind you that Wednesday will be the day that JD and Brownie will answer emails. To email the booth, it's very simple. Just go to foxsportshouston.com. Then Game Connect, and then from that point on, there'll be a little place where you can click on and send your email. And they will answer selected ones on the pregame show Wednesday. That is a day game, so tune in early to see if your question is selected and answered by the very erudite duo up in the booth.
Hey, stop calling us names.
Yeah, I shouldn't do that.
No score through one. It's David Wright, one of the sizzling hitters in baseball, with a .506 on base average, leading all major league players on a 6-game hitting streak as well. And there's ball one to Wright. .397 is his batting average. 3 homers, 14 driven in. Second best average in the league, behind only Matt Kemp of the Dodgers. That's a strike for Bud Norris. That makes it a 1-ball, 1-strike count. David Wright, 29 years old, a first-round pick of the Mets in 2001. Has been slumping the last 3 years, but the fences have been moved in, and he's much better as a hitter this year at Citi Field. 1 and 2. He made some changes in his hand positioning over the winter. Working with hitting coach Dave Hudgens, he lowered his hands to where he used to have them a few years ago, and the results have been dynamic. That's a strike call, and that's 3 call third strikes for Bud Norris.
Again, Gary Stevenson maybe with a little generosity there on the edge, but still not a bad looking pitch. He's met hitters, as I mentioned earlier, very patient, but my goodness, they're taking some third strikes and they look like pretty get toable.
Yeah. Well, they've struck out more than any other National League team. Mike Davis at 169 has 3 homers. He's driven in 8. But they're also second in drawing walks, so they do go deep into counts. There's strike 1 on Davis. Davis 143, the lowest batting average against right-handed pitching currently in the National League. Ike hit 302 last year. He bounces this one. Matt Downs, good pickup, short hop near the line. He got caught in between, but he had the hands to pull it off on out number 2.
Matt well positioned there. Even if he doesn't catch it cleanly, if he knocks it down, keeps it in front, he's likely going to be able to make a play on Davis.
Mike Baxter is next. The first 5 Mets have been retired. Baxter at 333 has 4 runs batted in. Ball 1 for Norris. Bud starting against the Mets for the 5th time in his career.
Start not unlike Bud's last start in Milwaukee. Through the first 15 batters, 4 innings, he allowed just 3 base runners, and then it all went downhill on him. The next 14 batters, he allowed 10 base runners. Ended up being charged with 7 runs in 5 2/3.
Baxter's from Whitestone, New York. He went to Vanderbilt University. San Diego drafted him in 2005 in the 4th round. The Mets claimed him on waivers last July.
He grew up about a 9-iron from Shea Stadium.
Smacks one right back through the middle. A sharp single to center field with 2 outs in the inning. About waist high for Bud Norris, but he couldn't get the glove down in time, and Baxter reaches. Baxter's 1 for 1 in steals. The Mets don't do much running at all. They have 6 stolen bases as a team in 12 tries. Andres Torres might solve some of that because he's been known as a base stealer. He's 0 for 2. Got hurt very early in the season, just coming off the disabled list tonight. He's been out with a strained left calf. He first injured it in spring training March 20th. But he can be somebody who can steal bases for the Mets. They do not have a whole lot of speed.
Looks like Cedarstrom's going to be a little more generous up than down. Torres a switch hitter. About the same left and right. 246, 242. Overall 243 with 27 home runs. Not a lot of power.
34-year-old veteran. Came from the Giants in a trade for Angel Pagan. It's 2-0 to Andres Torres, who was drafted by Detroit in '98. He's played with the White Sox, Texas, Minnesota, and then moved on around after that. 244 career hitter. And he has 60 stolen bases in his career. He's been successful 74% of the time. He could be the leadoff guy tomorrow night. That's where the Mets plan to have him. 2 balls and a strike, but Nieuwenhuis has been so hot, and he stays in that spot tonight. Terry Collins does not want to tinker with success. This is the Mets' first game against a Central Division team this year. Foul ball, and as JD mentioned earlier, they're not thought to be contenders in the NL East, but so far they're 10-5 within their Eastern Division.
They're out playing the Yankees.
Yeah, nobody's complaining in New York with what they've done so far.
I think if the Mets were a stock, I'd be selling as much of it as possible right now.
And many would agree with that. Runner going. Swing and a miss. He struck him out to end the inning. That's 4 strikeouts already for Bud Norris. No runs, a hit, and a man left. And there's no score.
A question, and this is almost a factoid as much as a question. It basically is, by miles per hour, who are the top 4 pitchers with the slowest average velocity in Major League Baseball this year?
Slowest. Travis Puck leads it off. He looks at ball 1. 290 for Travis. No homers. 4 runs batted in.
We were looking at a clue.
Yeah, sure. Dickey's got to be one of them.
That's one of them.
All right. Well, we saw Jamie Moyer here.
Jamie's got to be one. Yeah.
First series.
That is correct. You know, it's tough.
Mark Burley. Burley doesn't throw very hard.
That is correct. One of the last 2 passed through Houston once.
As an Astro?
I mean, he was an Astro for a while, yeah.
Okay.
He's passed through a lot of places, though. He's been washed up multiple times, supposedly. The other guy was once a very big winner and is bouncing back this year after some off years, after a big contract. And his name starts with a Z.
Barry Zito?
That's one of them, yeah.
3-2 to Buck.
Zach Wheat.
Travis Buck has a homer and 3 career at-bats against R.A. Dickey. 2 hits and 3 at-bats. And he has a walk this time to lead it off. But Dickey, with only his 9th walk in 25 1/3 innings, has mastered where that pitch is going.
There's 1 left, and you may get it by the hair on your chinny chin chin.
Wow. I'm guessing Bruce Chen.
Yeah.
Completed the 5.
JD has gone for the cycle tonight.
He did pass through here, yeah.
+1.
Yeah. Bruce Chen's been an interesting guy the way he's been able to survive.
He's his average velocity is 80.6, Burley 80.3, Zito who doesn't throw the knuckleball 78.6, Dickey 77.7, and the slowest of them all is the oldest of them all, Jamie Moyer 74.6.
Now that's the average velocity of all pitches.
Average velocity of pitches.
Not their fastball, but of all pitches.
That's everything.
Well, the Astros have the opportunity to do some running. Buck has not attempted a steal. Downs hits a shot, backhanded right. He'll go to second for the force play and gets the out call there, but it's safe at first.
Yeah, could have made a safe call at second base, too.
Yep. Looked like Murphy was across the bag when he got that throw. It didn't look like he kept his foot on the bag, but Mike Machlinski gave him the out call.
Well, you know, umpires a lot of times will let a guy cheat if it's an accurate throw at second base, but if the throw pulls the guy off the bag, you know, you got to call him safe. And he clearly had abandoned ship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's one thing if a guy misses the bag and he's straddling it when he catches the throw and he drags his foot across and misses it. You can understand maybe giving him the call there. I mean, I would argue foot should be on the bag when he has the ball. That's the rule.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a more understandable call. But that one, man, he was clearly off the base.
He was. 219 for Brian Bogusevic. 1 homer, 7 runs batted in. Came into the game in the 2nd inning yesterday when Jordan Schaefer was tossed. And the throw goes over on Matt Downs. He also has not attempted a steal. The Mets have not been able to stop the opponent's running game. Teams have stolen 20 bases in 25 tries against them this year. Infielders really bunch off the lines for Bogusevic. He gets a lot of room on the third base line. Flares one that way. David Wright over into foul territory for the catch. 2 outs.
Here's a quick AT&T trivia question again. We're the top 4 pitchers with the slowest average velocity. We only asked for 4. You did all 5. The one that's missing there is Bruce Chen. He's number 5, but don't worry about Bruce. He'll bounce back. He always does.
Zito with the big slow curveball. Moyer and Burley with the changeup, their best weapons, and of course R.A. is the knuckleball guy.
Chris Johnson looks at ball 1. He's on a 3-game hitting streak. 286. No homers and 8 runs batted in against right-handers. He's hitting much better. CJ's hit .409 his last 6 games. Day of rest for JD Martinez. 2 balls, no strikes. Travis Buck getting the call in left field tonight. And Carlos Lee was a little ouchy yesterday when he tried to do some work on the sprained ankle, so he gets another day off. So that's why this is a different lineup. First time Brad Mills has used this one. 3 balls, no strikes.
Too bad because Carlos has very good numbers against Dickey. 381. That's 8 out of 21. But, you know, if you can't go, you can't go.
Yeah. Marwin Gonzalez is back tonight. And his wife welcoming a baby into the world over the weekend. And Jordan Lyles has been optioned back to Oklahoma City. So those are the player moves made since yesterday's game. Jordan Lyles certainly did nothing to get optioned back. It was just a numbers situation. And the Astros will need another starting pitcher when the rotation comes around after the off day on Thursday. There's a walk to CJ, 2nd of the inning, and now 1st and 2nd, 2 outs for Jason Castro.
CJ rarely walks, but that time good patience, work his way on base. No, Jordan Lyles didn't do anything to get say. He pitched a really good game yesterday. One of the better outings by an Astros starter this year in terms of fastball command and the way he used his breaking ball.
So Brad Mills will have a few days to do some consultation before deciding who fits in that spot in the rotation. 245 for Jason Castro. He's driven in 6. He's on a 6-game hitting streak. And there's strike one for Dickey.
Yeah, but Jordan cannot be recalled to make that start unless there's an injury, because when you get sent back down, you have to stay down for 10 days.
Yes. Castro's gone 9 for 24 during his 6-game hitting streak. Downs is attracting some attention from Dickey. Step back. Dickey's written quite a book, we understand. Haven't had a chance to read it. Have you, JD?
No, I'm reading your book, Brownie.
Oh, that's right. Well, the R.A. Dickey book, he apparently is a good writer himself. Just reading about that today. Fly ball out into left center field, and Torres goes for it. Neuenhuis, and Neuenhuis is there. No runs, no hits, 2 men left. After 2, there is no score.
And after wearing the Colt 45s jerseys on Flashback Fridays in April, the Astros will wear the 1960s Shooting Star uniforms on Fridays in May, beginning this Friday against the Cardinals. Astros legend Rusty Staub will toss the ceremony first pitch Friday night. Fireworks will be set to 60s music. Tickets are at Astros.com. And in keeping with the Flashback Fridays theme, here's a guy right here. You don't have to flashback too far. Richard Hidalgo got to throw out the first pitch today, paying a little visit to Minute Maid Park. Welcome back, and what was it like for you to step out there on the field again? Oh,
man, I feel so excited. I feel happy. I got to say thanks to Joe Cruz. He helped me out to come down over here, and it's pretty fun.
It's pretty fun. I know you told me as we're sitting here, you wish you were down there playing still.
Yeah, I'm watching the game from here, and it's kind of weird. I want to be there right now.
So I know you're still playing winter ball in Venezuela, is that correct?
Yeah, I've been playing winter ball in Venezuela, and but I think I'm going to retire this year, and they want me to be a hitting coach in Venezuela.
Ah, very nice. So when you look back at your time with the Astros, you were obviously here for some pretty good times through the '98 season, I think all the way through 2004. What stands out for you? What were some of your most memorable memories?
Well, I guess, defense. I love defense in here. They always support me a lot, and those great games, hitting home run over here a lot, and I feel, happy about it.
All right, so you're looking forward to coaching, and you think you're bringing your hitting skills to the younger players, or something that you're going to be able to do?
Yeah, well, I'm going to show my parents, and my first step is going to be in Venezuela, be a hitting coach, and we'll see after that.
All right, well, it was a pleasure to see you again. I know the fans have been lining up. Everybody's been glad to see him, and it was great, I got to tell you, and I know Brownie made mention of it too, to come out there and hear the song Who Let the Dogs Out. That bring back memories for you?
Oh, yeah. Hey, they put it today too, so, I really appreciate that. I'm so happy about it.
All right. Good talking to you. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Guys.
Always good to see Richard back. We saw him in spring training as well. He lives in the Orlando, Florida area. Meanwhile, Bud Norris has a couple of quick outs. Totally with a pop up to shortstop. Dickey with a grounder to short. And now it's Nieuwenhuis who struck out looking to open the game. Richard hit 44 homers the year this stadium opened in 2000.
Drove in 122, had an OPS over 1,000 that year.
That's strike one to Nieuwenhuis. Third best home run season by an Astro in the club's 50-year history. He did a lot of slugging. Fun to watch in the outfield. Played center field for a while before he moved to right. His arm was a factor, wasn't it?
He was 22 years of age when he came up in '97.
Two hopper out to Altuve. On over to Matt Downs. It's a 1-2-3 Mets third. Only 5 pitches for Bud Norris that time. No score. Pitchers for tomorrow's game are presented by Chevron. Let's look ahead 24 hours to Jonathan Neese and Jay Happ, a matchup of lefties. Neese 2-0, Happ is 1-1.
And Mets starting pitching has been pretty good. They've lost Mike Pelfrey now. He's down for the year.
And he was an innings eater too. Bud Norris leads it off in this scoreless game in the home third inning. He has 2 hits and 8 at bats for a .250 average with a couple of runs batted in. Gets the knuckler and it's strike one. R.A. Dickey's book that's just out is R.A. Dickey, Wherever I Wind Up. Getting very good reviews. It's a memoir, and he had a difficult childhood. He speaks about that in the book. Interesting guy, 37 years old. He was a first-round pick of the Rangers in '96, 18th player drafted.
Yeah, threw 93 miles an hour then. Rangers offered him over $800,000, but before the contract was signed, it was discovered that he had no ulnar collateral ligament in his pitching arm. And all of a sudden, that $800+ offer went down to $75,000.
Ouch. Climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, as you might have noticed. 2 hopper to third, David Wright. And that was probably against the advice of the Mets front office.
Mets, I don't think the Mets were really happy about it.
He did it.
Yeah, well, he's his own man. There's no doubt about it. He was an English lit major in college at Tennessee.
He was on the '96 Olympic team. And then when he was with the Rangers, Oral Hershiser was the pitching coach and called him in, and the Rangers liked him, but he wasn't getting good results, and said, would you consider going to the minor leagues and learning the knuckleball, because he had thrown that many times in bullpen sessions, and Hershiser noticed how good he was on it. Little bouncer back to the mound by Schaefer, and Dickey takes care of out number 2 easily.
And so, at 37 years of age, when most pitchers are, getting ready to wrap it up, Dickey could pitch another 10 years.
Yep. He's the only one left, JD, the only knuckleballer starts. Is it a dying breed, or will we see more of these in future years, do you think?
Well, I suspect we'll see another. There's never been a lot of them.
No.
In the history of the game, there's usually, a couple guys that throw the knuckleball active at any given time, but never much more than 4 or 5 that use it as their primary weapon.
Strike to Jose Altuve.
He could open up a camp in the wintertime, a knuckleball camp.
Sure.
And you would attract youngsters, you would attract old washed up guys who thought maybe they could stretch their career a little bit, could exploit rich suburbanites who have a lot of money to spend on their kids.
2 balls and a strike to Altuve. And he's running away with that batting lead among second basemen. What an April he's had. High chop. Dickey comes after it. Tolle bobbles it and drops it, and Altuve is safe. Now the official scorer has a decision to make. I think it'll be a hit. Altuve has 31 hits.
This little topper out in front of home plate. Tolle out quickly. I think it's an error.
Yeah, after looking at that.
I mean, he did a nice job getting out from behind the home plate in a hurry, but it was right there for him.
I have to agree with you on.
Not an easy play, but a play that I would argue should have been made.
Upon further review.
Of course, he's got that big old knuckleball glove, doesn't help. Probably should have barehanded it.
It's an error. And that gets Jed Lowry to the plate. Tolle's 4th error of the year. Altuve draws the throw. He's 4 for 4 in steals, and this might be time that he would go with 2 outs in the inning and Lowry batting. Ahead of the Ike Davis tag. Pretty close.
I think he will throw the ball harder to first base tonight than he will to home plate.
It would be interesting to have a velocity on that throw to first. But I think you're right.
I think when we saw him last year, we got his fastball at 81 or 82. And that can be effective after all the knuckleballs.
Lowry takes it. Jed was talking about hitting at Fenway as he has the last few years with the Boston Red Sox. And he hit a line drive 2-run homer yesterday in Cincinnati. And he said that ball would have been caught at Fenway. He said, I hit so many balls to right center there that were outs. He talked about what a great job David Ortiz has done of adjusting his hitting style at Fenway Park. He said when he came up, he was a pull hitter, but he kept crushing balls that were caught, so he developed that inside out swing and started banging them off the green monster, and then pitchers tried to come inside and jam him, and he would turn on those and whack them out to right field. Strike makes it 1-1. And the Mets hitters have been so frustrated by Citi Field the last few years that the fences have been moved in this year. Padres are talking about moving in their fences next year. One and two. Well, with only one of these starting pitchers around who throws the knuckler, it makes it an adjustment for these hitters. This is the 5th career start for Dickey against the Astros. He's won 1 and lost 2. Foul tip strikeout to end the 3rd inning. 2nd strikeout for Dickey. No runs, no hits. 1 error, 1 left. Nothing. These two teams, who both came into the National League as expansion clubs that year, have really followed an interesting pattern. The Astros have more postseason appearances, 9-7, but the Mets have the 2 World Championships to none for Houston, and the Astros have more first place finishes. The Mets have been really good and really bad more often than the Astros.
The Astros a little more competitive early on. That first Mets team, would they win 40 games?
Yeah.
42 games, something like that.
40 games. And the Astros with 56 wins last year. That's their lowest victory total. So both clubs have the 50 anniversary patches as they play this season. Now Ruben Tejada leads it off in the 4th inning. He struck out looking in the first as Bud Norris mowed down the first 5 batters in this game. Spins him around. It hit him, and he reaches, leading off the 4th. 3rd hit batsman of the season for Norris.
That's annoying when you throw a fastball, has a little run on it, and then the guy just takes it in the jersey, and just like that, you've got a base runner. You want to yell at him, "Get out of the way!"
Daniel Murphy grounded out to Jose Altuve, first time up. That's ball 1. Norris facing R.A. Dickey for the 3rd time in his career. Bud lost a 5-1 game in New York in August of 2010 to Dickey and got a no decision in New York last April against Dickey. Murphy hit a 2-run homer off Bud in that game at New York last year. So the lefties tomorrow night, Jonathan Neese and Jay Happ, and then Chris Schwinden goes against Wandy Rodriguez at 1 o'clock Wednesday afternoon. Thursday's an off day for the Astros. The Cardinals are here over the weekend. Strike makes it 1-1. And former Met and Astro Rusty Staub will be here Friday night to throw out the first pitch. Flashback Fridays, and we've got Cinco de Mayo on Saturday. Big week here at Minute Maid Park. By the way, we'll have fireworks after the games both Friday and Saturday nights. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
But zipping through this Mets lineup first time around, very efficient, just allowing the 1 base hit prior to Tejada being hit by a pitch here. That was the only base runner, and he's done it with just 36 pitches so far. So he's set up well to pitch deep into this ball game.
Inside, and that's ball 2. Murphy's not a natural second baseman, still learning the position and having some issues with it, as you noticed on that double play pivot earlier. But he's hit. He's been a .292 major league hitter over the course of his career. Drove in 63 runs in 09, and he had 508 at bats that year. Had a torn right MCL in 2010. Daniel, a 13th round pick in 06 from Jacksonville, Florida. He went to Jacksonville University. And that one goes foul. Still 2-2, so the Mets have turned the page. Jose Reyes has moved on, and they have moved on. They do have Johan Santana back, and that could be a major asset for them this season if they can keep him healthy. But then that may just balance the loss of Mike Pelfrey also. Swing and a miss, and that's strikeout number 5 as he chased the high heater.
I think the Mets are very much like the Astros. They're in a position where they're rebuilding. They're trying to take a look at a lot of young players to see who has a future with them long term and who doesn't. Murphy was very despondent after that swing, and you can understand why. That was neck high, and he's just so mad at himself.
Yep.
So, you know, the Mets were very patient early and got caught looking, and now Murphy goes way out of the zone for that high heater.
David Wright was caught looking in the 2nd inning. Well, the list of Mets third basemen is really long, 147 since 1962. Only 6 have played as many as 300 games at third for the Mets. David Wright by far the most, more than 1,100 games. Howard Johnson had 835. Strike to Wright.
David Wright was guessing first pitch fastball there, opened up, tried to yank one into the Crawford boxes, and was fooled by the Norris slider. Hitting almost 400 this year. He hasn't been fooled very often. He's among the Mets all-time leaders in many offensive categories.
He's had 5 100 RBI seasons. He's won a couple of Gold Gloves.
What are they going to do, Brownie? They're going to keep him, or are they going to let him go?
I think they'll keep him. I really do.
What's the financial situation over there now?
Not good.
No, that's the rub.
Yes, it is. 301 career hitter, and he brings some speed and a good glove to the position. As you mentioned, he's 29. He could have many more productive years. They'll have to pay up to keep him, certainly.
They opted not to keep Jose Reyes. According to Reyes, they didn't offer him. They did not make him an offer this offseason after he became a free agent.
Interesting.
That's the mistake they made with Reyes. They didn't trade him, and then they didn't sign him. Obviously, they can't let that happen. Whoop!
That one really gets away and goes back to the backstop on a wild pitch, with Tejada moving to second as the pitch really gets away from Norris.
Caught a spike or something. Yeah, catches his heel there on the way down.
Oh, yeah.
Sharing a laugh with that one.
It's wake up time. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Wright is 0 for 9 against Norris in his career. Ike Davis is on deck. Oh, he chased one. Slider low and away, and he struck him out for number 6.
Bud, did he punch out 14 Pirates one time? Something like that?
That sounds right.
Yeah, 14 Pirates back in August of 2010. He's on a similar pace here tonight.
Ike Davis grounded out, and first baseman Matt Downs was there to play it back in the 2nd inning. Matt backing up here as Davis, who played across the diamond from Brett Wallace at Arizona State, comes around for the 2nd time. Davis looks at strike one. He is hitting 188 with runners in scoring position this year. He struck out 13 times and 32 at bats with men in scoring position.
He started the year 0 for 20 something, I believe.
And he has the most at bats of anybody in the majors with runners in scoring position, 32. Grounds this one, and there's Altuve to his left. Has to wait for Downs to get to the base, and then the little toss takes care of out number 3 with a man left, and in the middle of the 4th inning, there is no score.
in the Box. Right now at Jack in the Box, you can try the new Chipotle Chicken Club and buy the all-new Mazda CX-5 with 35 highway miles per gallon. We send it to the booth. The old knuckleballer who isn't old, that's an oxymoron, is up there in the booth with Petey and Browning. Steve's up there, guys.
Steve Sparks could still be pitching. And do you guys have a knuckleball convention every year when you get together and talk about it?
As a matter of fact, we do in Transylvania, just outside of Australia. Nobody knows about it, but it's a lot of fun. Thus the beard on Dickie.
Do you actually know R.A. Dickey?
We've spoken a few times by phone and in person. Great guy. He, I'm sure you've told the story about what he was doing and what had happened with his career with the injury when he had first signed. But here's a guy that's transformed his career, late 30s, mid to late 30s, and it looks like there's no stopping this guy.
Yeah, it's interesting because has there ever been a knuckleballer who just set out to be a knuckleballer? Am I right? Everybody, I guess the Negroes to a degree, they learn that pitch as kids, but it seems like just about all knuckleballers were conventional pitchers, and then they said, well, this isn't working out so well, we need to go to plan B.
No, as a matter of fact, when I was 4 years old, I wanted to be a knuckleball pitcher.
Really?
No.
You were a big Hoyt Wilhelm fan?
No, I think you're right. I think it's guys who come up short, with their conventional pitches, and guys who have an injury. Tim Wakefield was a first baseman, couldn't hit. The guy saw him throw out in the outfield, throwing the ball around. He had a good knuckleball. I said, you know what, why not? It's worked out for a lot of guys. I mean, percentage-wise, and what these guys can do for the rotation as far as eating innings and longevity, it's paid a lot of dividends.
Yeah, we were talking last inning when he was out there. He could pitch another 10 years conceivably.
It looks like it. You know what? He probably throws it as hard as anybody as I've ever seen, but he just repeats his delivery so well. It looks like he's playing catch, which is, I guess, the trick to that pitch. Just go out there and have everybody in the stands think that they can grab a bat and take a whack.
So you're kind of like, like the Tonight Show or something. You show up with your props, like your Gallagher. Mm-hmm. You got your knuckleball mitt.
You know what? I mean, it's not just because he's pitching today. I do this every day.
You got your hoof lacquer. We got hoof lacquer here. I don't know if folks at home could see that. Hoof lacquer.
JD's holding you know what? They asked me to bring this glove today, and I saw this in my old baseball bag. Hoof lacquer. Phil Necro used to tell me, you want to keep your fingernails hard, put hoof lacquer on there. The horses use it, and then they're tough as nails.
So you just brush it on like nail polish?
Brush it on like nail polish, and kept them pretty thick.
So it worked.
Yeah, it did.
David Wright fields the grounder. You guys eat a lot of oats for breakfast when you do that?
Now, if I wanted to scuff the ball, could I make my nails hard enough that where I'd be able to scuff the ball and throw a little...
That's kind of a funny story. Tim Wakefield and I had the pleasure of talking to Phil Necro one time out in the bullpen at Fenway Park. I think it was my rookie year, and we spoke with him for about 3 or 4 hours, and it was a situation where we just asked a lot of questions. The last question I asked him was, I was pitching in Milwaukee, and the cold, windy days made it tough to grip the baseball, and I just asked him, I said, did you do anything special on those days when the ball felt like a cue ball? And he said that he used to scratch his nails on some concrete right before he warmed up, and it kind of gave it that jagged edge on his fingernails, and it felt great.
So he scuffed his nails and not the ball, just
to
dig in a little bit.
Yeah, so my last start, I tried it, and it split my nail all the way up the middle, and I couldn't throw a knuckleball for that entire game, so I was out by the third inning.
Because you hadn't used your hoof lacquer. You got to use the hoof lacquer.
I didn't learn it yet.
Before.
Another trick I learned in Milwaukee, because there's so many bowlers there, is that they use glycerin with rose water on their hands a lot, and that would keep your hands kind of tacky for a few hours. So I started using that. I don't know if it was legal or not, but it was clear, and nobody detected it.
When you were throwing knuckleballs, what was your you threw 80% like Dickey, or less, more?
You know what? It just depended on the day, the score of the game, and how it felt. But I would say more so than anybody, I threw it less. I threw it about 60%. And mixed in some other stuff. I always told reporters I threw it about 90%, just to try to give the illusion to the hitter.
Off, yeah.
You used the media?
You know what? It wasn't so much that. I'm just a born liar.
Steve, thanks a lot for joining us. We'll see you Saturday night.
All right, sounds good. Looking forward to it.
That's strikeout number 4, and it's 0-0 after 4.
We build Mazdas. What do you drive? The 9-game homestand will continue. Game 2 of this 3-game set. It'll be Jay Happ on the mound tomorrow night, making his 5th start of the season. He's 1-1 with a 4.70 ERA. Got a no decision last time out in that Astros 7-5 win over Milwaukee. 10 starts since being called up from the AAA last year. Well, he's 3-2 with a 3.30. It's Happ versus Jonathan Neese tomorrow night. Our coverage begins at 6:30. That's your Mazda game break. Go back to Brownie and JD. That disturbing visual of Steve Sparks and the Necro brothers sitting around the clubhouse in their shower shoes, painting their nails all together. Kind of a fraternal knuckleball thing.
Boys' night out.
They are an odd bunch.
We go to the 5th inning. It's Mike Baxter leading it off. There's only been 1 hit in the game so far. And
Phil Necro at the end of his career pitched a complete game without his knuckleball. And I think he threw a shutout.
Yeah, it would be so shocking.
Well, he just vowed to do it. He told everybody, hey, I'm more than a knuckleballer.
1-1 to Baxter. Baxter singled right back through the box in the 2nd inning. That's been the only hit tonight through 4. He'll be followed by Torres and Tolle.
For either club.
Yes. Little chop, brings Downs over to his right, tossing to Norris. 1 out.
I mentioned earlier that throughout his career, Bud really hasn't been bothered by left-handed hitters. This year, they're hitting .306 coming into this game against him, but for the most part, it hasn't been an issue.
Hey, kick off your Cinco de Mayo celebration with the Astros this Saturday against the Cardinals. Enjoy the pregame Street Fest. That starts at 3 p.m. And you can purchase the ticket package at astros.com/Cinco. You also get a game ticket in select sections, and the Astros will throw in your first beer or soda. Tickets at astros.com/Cinco. Starting with Street Fest at 3. And, of course, post-game fireworks both Friday and Saturday this week at Minute Maid Park.
Andres Torres comes up. He struck out in the 2nd inning. He's returned to the lineup. Like a changeup that time at 85 from Bud for ball 1.
Primarily fastball slider guy. Bud uses his changeup about 5-6% of the time. And that pitch could prove to be a difference maker for him.
Out to left center field, long run for Buck, and Buck leaps up on the run, and it's Travis Buck making a tremendous play in left center field.
How could you anticipate that? That's the first ball they've hit to the outfield tonight off Norris. And Torres gives it a pretty good ride the other way. Buck makes a fine play, taking away extra bases.
Made an adjustment there at the end, didn't he? As he reached back up over.
It had a little slice spin on it.
Well, that is just terrific.
And then just for a little fun into the wall. Just dying to hit that wall.
Josh Tolley popped a short on one pitch. He was an out the first time up. There's strike one. Travis was saying before the game tonight when he came up with Oakland, he played primarily right field and then some center, but in recent years he's played more left, but he plays all three spots, and that gives the Astros a good player to use. There's another changeup from Bud. Second time through the order here. I don't know that we saw this last time. You talked about the tremendous first 4 innings Bud had against Milwaukee. I don't remember many changeups, as you said, in that game.
No, you know, he maybe threw a couple. Of course, there's a lot of left-handed bats in the lineup tonight.
Good point. Smashed into right field past the diving Downs. The 0-2 pitch to Tolley's liking, and he's on with hit number 2 of the night.
But I do remember the way that game unfolded last time, thinking if he had established something soft, whether it was changeup, slow curve, something like that, it may have served him well third time around the order in that ballgame. This lineup nowhere near as potent as that Brewer lineup. But again, that's, you know, that was a point of emphasis for him this winter, heading into spring training, to get more comfortable with the changeup. At times it's been very good for him, but other times he's struggled with it.
Well, during Brad Mills' media session, he said Bud had a very good changeup in spring training this year. R.A. Dickey takes, and there's ball 1 to him. Texas and Yu Darvish has the lead 4-1 at Toronto in the bottom of the 7th inning. Kyle Drabek started, pitched well, giving up 2 runs in 6. Edwin Encarnacion hit another, his 8th of the year. Now 2-0 for Bud.
And Kyle Drabek off to a good start. If that Toronto rotation stands tall this year, they're going to stay in the race. They've got a tremendous lineup.
Brad Mills club in a 0-0 game here in the 5th. Backing away, Dickey takes it for a strike. And Brad and Terry Collins are on the opposite ends of the spectrum, with the Astros 2-6 in 1-run games and the Mets 6-1 in 1-run games. That has meant a world of difference in their records at this point of the season. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Mets have swept Atlanta and Miami at Citi Field. And the Astros won their first series here against Colorado. They have lost the next 6 series. So they will have a losing April no matter what they do tonight, this being the final day of the month, as you know. For the first time in a few years, they have not had a winning April in several years. And they've had 13 of their last 16 on the road. So just nice for them to come back to their home base for 9 games here at Minute Maid Park after just a 3-game homestand last time. And 59 pitches for Bud Norris.
Yeah, get out of Cincinnati and come back home, have some real chili. Some barbecue.
Yeah.
Win a few ball games. Enjoy some humidity.
Foul ball. Keeps the count at 2-2. Norris with 6 strikeouts. A hit batsman has allowed 2 singles. That catch very big by Buck, because if Torres gets on with a double leading off the inning, he probably scores on Tolley's single, if that does indeed follow. So Buck has provided that lift for the right-hander, shooting for Major League win number 23 tonight. Punched out of play.
I wonder if R.A. is using Orchrist, the Goblin Cleaver, or Runting. Those are the names of his bats.
Really?
Yeah. Orchrist is from The Hobbit, and Runting is from Beowulf.
Okay.
As I mentioned, he was an English lit major.
Yeah.
So he's written a book. Miguel Batista in their bullpen has written a book. This is a very literate group here.
Very much so. Takes that one upstairs, and it's 3-2. That one looked like it slipped out of Bud's hand. 61 pitches for Norris, 42 have been strikes.
I think he's making him work harder than any other Met.
Yeah.
R.A. also tried to swim across the Missouri River once.
How'd that go?
He almost died.
Runner going, and it's fouled away. He's not a dull guy, is he? There's plenty to learn about R.A. Dickey. And he attempted to write his memoir several years ago and then kind of put it aside. Made a second stab, and it's gone very well. This will be the 10th pitch coming to Dickey. The runner going, he pops it up. Man, down's over. In the 5th for New York, it's no runs a hit and a man stranded and still scoreless.
The bottom of the 5th. Time now to introduce you to our progressive fans of the game. We got a big group here, actually, from Texas A&M. Nick, tell us about your group.
Well, we got about 20 people here. It's finals week. We don't really care. You know, we got senioritis. We're just in the house having a good time. We brought a priest with us, so keep us safe and stuff. So,
all right, and does the priest know that they don't care about finals?
Exactly. They're going to be studying on Wednesday and Thursday, so they're actually taking a study break, so they've been studying all weekend. So.
A study break. Yes, I got it. All right, so you guys are the fans of the games, not only because you brought the numbers, but what makes you guys great Astro fans?
You know, we got kids that were born and raised in Houston. I'm from Austin myself, so no allegiance there. So I love the Astros, you know, born and raised. I don't know. Everyone loves them.
All right, well, we don't have time for a big yell, but can we get a whoop?
We get a whoop.
These are your progressive fans of the game. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Patty. And Chris Johnson leads it off here in a scoreless game, taking strike one. He walked in the 2nd inning when Dickey walked a couple. Dickey has pitched hitless ball through 4. It's a 1-1 count for R.A. Dickey. Coming off a 5-1 win on Tuesday against Miami, in which he allowed 3 hits and 1 run in 7 innings. Back toward the seats, outside the right field line, and out of play. 1-2.
And Dickey's allowed 2 runs or less in 3 of his 4 starts. The one aberration to start in Atlanta, where he allowed 8 runs in 4 1/3. That was on a wet night. Just never really got the feel for his knuckleball.
Dickey is 1-2 against Houston with a 3.82 ERA for his career. Swing and a miss, and Johnson will go to first, but Tolley throws him out. Strikeout number 5, going for 2 to 3.
You know, a lot of times a team, when facing a lefty, will make sure they take BP off a left-handed pitcher, but you know, there's not enough knuckleballers around to bring a knuckleballer out to throw BP, and frankly, the hitters probably wouldn't want it. They probably would say, no, we're going to have enough frustration during the game trying to hit a knuckleball. We don't want to deal with it in BP.
Well, R.A. has thrown strike 1 to 13 of 16 hitters. Jason Castro next. He hit a fly ball to left field. This one goes to left field as well. Backing up Neuenhuis. 2 outs. And Bud Norris will come around for the second time.
I used to argue with hitters, but you know, I'm kind of pig-headed. Took me a while to buy into it, but I used to always say, wouldn't there be more value in batting practice if a guy was throwing you sliders and putting a little something extra on it, trying to cut the ball or sink it? And hitters would say, no, we don't want. Batting practice for everyday players is just about timing and rhythm and feeling good about their swing. They don't want to deal with a lot of extra movement. They just want that four-seam fastball right over the heart of the plate.
Bud Norris looks at ball 1. Since Dickey joined the Mets, he's thrown at least 5 innings in 58 of 61 starts.
Here's a hitter, 85.
That's usually the one the hitter wants to swing at. Terry Collins has to like the way this game is going after his club was raked over the coals with a lot of runs allowed in Colorado, but 1 2 out of 3 anyway.
He's got that thing dancing tonight, boy.
He does. 1 and 2.
I remember talking to Sparky about it last year, maybe 2 years ago, and he said what bothered him was when hitters would crowd the plate. So that wouldn't be a bad strategy to get right up on top of the plate. You know, with that unpredictable movement, you could probably steal a couple base runners that way, just getting hit by a darting knuckleball.
Excellent thought. Altuve almost got hit earlier.
Or you could force him to change his sights a little bit.
He has struck out 6, and he has 5 no-hit innings under his belt in a scoreless game.
Great hands of the game. Travis Buck with the great hands, and then the nifty little smash into the wall to kind of slow himself down. That is it. A great play by Travis Buck. That came back in the 5th inning. Our great hands play of the game brought to you by the Brown Hand Center.
Thanks, Greg. Quite a game developing here with only 2 hits in the ball game through 5, both of them singles. Baxter a 2-out single in the 2nd inning. Tolley a 2-out single in the 5th. That catch preceded it, the one you just saw from Buck. So that kept the Mets off the scoreboard, and the Astros have a couple of base runners on walks, and that is it so far, JD.
Yeah, and there really hasn't been a lot of hard contact. Can't even point to near misses, line drives right at somebody, things of that nature. Pitcher's really in complete control of this ball game.
Bud took a moment there before pitching to the leadoff man, Neuenhuis. Here in the 6th inning, Neuenhuis is 0 for 2. Strikeout looking and a ground out. Johnson even with the bag at 3rd. And it's strike 1 call.
Neuenhuis, the reputation, the scouting report on him is that he's a guy who doesn't have one standout tool, but he does a lot of things pretty well. Runs okay, has a little power. Real intense guy. Hard charger. He He ran for 297 yards in a state championship football game in high school.
Made quite a diving catch yesterday in left center at Coors Field. He was born in Santa Monica, California. Went to Azusa Pacific College. Looping line drive into right center for a hit for Neuenhuis. Bogusevic over to play it, and the Mets have the leadoff man on for the second time tonight. Tejada was hit by a pitch leading off the fourth. Neuenhuis is 1 for 1 in base stealing. Tom Goodwin is the first base coach for the Mets. Tejada's coming up next. In a game like this, wonder if Terry Collins would have him bunting. He struck out looking, and he's been hit by a pitch. Chris Johnson's in on the grass at third. Murphy on deck. It's only the 6th inning. Showing bunt takes strike one.
Showed late. He might have been thinking about bunting for a hit. The downside for bunting here is you risk taking the bat out of David Wright's hands. When he comes up, you know, if Tejada gets a bunt down and they get Murphy, then Astros might be inclined to walk David Wright to go after Ike Davis, even though you would lose the right-left advantage. Right. Whoa.
Oh, they picked him off. Neuenhuis tagged out by Downs, and he is just staring at Lance Barksdale and arguing the out call. Now Terry Collins will come up those steps in a hurry.
On his way out there to protect his player, but when Neuenhuis gave up the fight, Terry retreated back into the dugout, and Terry's probably a little bit chapped at his guy because I'm sure they went over in the meeting that Bud Norris is one of the quicker pickoff moves in all of baseball. And that's a change of heart down there by Lance Barksdale. He was going to call him safe.
It was a change of heart. He had the safe sign all revved up and then changed it and punched him out.
And usually that right there is enough to get the manager out of the dugout. What do you mean safe then out?
Strike call there to Tejada, and the worm is turned. No longer a runner on, 1 out and an 0-2 count on the hitter.
Looked like you got it right though, didn't it?
It did. Base runners have been very precious tonight. Oh, good low pitch, but he just missed, and it's 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Cedarstrom established early on that he was going to be a little more generous up than down, and that pitch right there is one you normally get.
And now the slider, a strike 3 call. 7 strikeouts for Norris. Four of them called.
Well, we had the conversation after Bud started Milwaukee, because I remember talking about the change up in the slow curveball, and we talked about a starting pitcher, does he need 3 pitches? And the answer is not necessarily. If he's got such good command of 1 and 2, he doesn't need a whole lot of 3, and that appears to be the case tonight. Fastball slider really getting it done for Bud.
Murphy flailed over the top of that slider. Bud struck out 8 in 7 innings in his first start of the year here against Colorado. Had that 14 strikeout game you talked about in 2010 against Pittsburgh. 1 ball, 1 strike. Yankees lead the Orioles after 7, 2-1 at Yankee Stadium. Hiroki Kuroda out of the game after 7. Eric Chavez hit his 3rd home run. It came off Jason Hamill. It's 2-1 for Bud Norris.
Dodgers Rockies 1-1 in the 4th, and surprisingly, Matt Kemp has hit a home run.
Oh,
his 12th.
Good grief. There's no contest for Player of the Month in the National League. Three balls and a strike to Murphy now. Pittsburgh 9, Atlanta 3. They're in the bottom of the 8th in Atlanta. Pedro Alvarez hit his 5th for the Buccos.
Starting to heat up.
Yeah. Fouled away, and it's 3 balls, 2 strikes. Steve Sparks will be filling in for JD Saturday night. as the homestand continues with the Cardinals series over the weekend. Then next week, the Miami Marlins are here Monday through Wednesday.
Too bad R.A. Dickey wasn't pitching Saturday night.
Oh, two-hopper goes out to Jed Lowry. And it's no runs, one hit. After the hit leading off the inning, NYN was called out on a pickoff throw, and it's 0-0.
Cancer history. It was on this date in 1994, before a regular season crowd of over 49,000 at the Astrodome, Jeff Bagwell and Steve Finley homered. They were part of a 15-5 drubbing of St. Louis. The glorious 1994 season, Terry Collins managed, never got to finish. Jeff Bagwell's greatest single season, this moment at Astros history.
Jordan Schaefer punches a line drive over David Wright into left field, takes the turn. And the Astros have their first hit of the night, and Schaefer's hitting streak goes to 7 games. He's been on base in all 23 games for the Astros this year.
Stayed back nicely on that knuckleball. Punched into left field. Now we'll see how the Astros try to push a run across. Normally you think a knuckleball would be pretty easy to run on, especially for a guy like Schaefer.
Ricky Gutierrez got on in the first 23 games. 98. Altuve around to bunt. Pitch almost hit him. It's ball 1. Dennis Menke with the club record, reaching for the first 25 games. 69.
I think he's really hastening his delivery home. Just a little step and go.
Altuve does not have a sacrifice bunt this season. He's 8th in the league in slugging percentage, .566. Schaefer has 7 steals in 10 attempts, so the idea would be for him to steal the base. Totally thrown out 3 of 18.
Nobody's even tried on Dickey this year. So surprising.
Schaefer was thrown out yesterday at Cincinnati trying to steal second. Bunted first base side. Dickey tossing to Davis. Got his foot on the base for the sacrifice for Altuve, his first of the year. Schaefer to second, 1 out. That'll give Jed Lowry an at bat with a runner at second. Lowry's grounded out and struck out.
You could argue that the sacrifice bunt in this situation, more a late game strategy, something you'd more typically see in the 8th and 9th inning, but the way this game is playing out, you can understand why Brad Mills put the sacrifice on there. One might be enough tonight.
Might do it. Lowry freezing Schaefer as he leads off. Schaefer has become the second Astro to reach second base. Matt Downs got over there in the second inning on the walk to Chris Johnson. The Astros as a team are hitting .298 with runners in scoring position. Outstanding work. Started to go. Tolley stopped it. And it's a ball to Lowry.
Yeah, so clearly, the Astros with their their times on Tolley and Dickey's delivery felt like it wasn't a high percentage opportunity there to steal second base with Schaefer, so they put the sacrifice on. Now you're just hoping for that knuckleball to get away from Tolley and get into third base with just one out. A lot of pressure on the catcher with a knuckleballer on the mound.
Time is called. These two clubs played a 24-inning game in 1968. The Astros won it 1-0 on an error by Al Weiss. Norm Miller scored the run. In the air to shallow left. Tejada back, and it jumps in for a hit. Here's a throw to third. Schaefer safe at third. Well, Schaefer had to be sure because Neuenhuis was coming in. Tejada was going out. It looked like either could have caught it, but neither did.
Nobody took charge on that ball. So Neuenhuis, who was picked off in the top half of the inning, now unable to make a play on that little lazy fly ball. And that's opening up a door here. Tejada peeled off as if Neuenhuis had called for it.
Schaefer ready to dash.
Yeah, that's not an easy read there.
This is the first game Neuenhuis has played in left field at any level. He had been a center fielder this year for the Mets. Now Travis Buck. Runners at the corners, one out. He has a walk and a strikeout looking. Buck takes a look at ball one. Phillies got 4 in the first, but the Cubs have roared back to tie it with 3 in the 8th. It's 4-4 in the bottom of the 8th at Philadelphia. Brian LaHare hit a 2-run homer off Chad Qualls. LaHare's hitting .390 for the Cubs.
His 5th bomb.
Bouncer foul. So they have found a good first sacker, it appears. Career minor leaguer, and he's paying off good dividends for Chicago. Cubs, like the Astros, have won 8 and lost 14. Travis Buck trying to get the first run home in this game with Matt Downs on deck. Broken bat roller. Murphy to his left goes back to second for a 1, and the run scores to make it 1-0. Buck gets RBI number 5 of the year on a broken bat roller. First play on Lowry went from 4 to 6.
We talked earlier in the ball game about the unpredictable nature of the knuckleball and all the funky contact that it induces. Boy, and this inning has been a great example. Schaefer's base hit to left was legit, not smoked by any stretch, but legit. And then a little blooper, should have been caught. Broken bat here, weak ground ball, no chance to get 2, and the Astros get a run home. Playing a little small ball here in the 6th.
They are. Matt Downs, who ripped a homer yesterday, is 0 for 2 tonight. Matt hit the ball on a line to right field in the 6th inning off Matt Latos yesterday. Dusty Baker said after the game he hadn't seen Matt hit a ball like that to right field for a home run. In tight for ball 1. The Mets are 20-20 here at Minute Maid Park. They were 5-21 at Colt Stadium, 83-132 at the Astrodome, so their fortune's much better in this ballpark. Ripped to left field. Matt Downs watches this one hit the seats. 2-run homer. Matt Downs, 2 homers in 2 games. 3-0 Astros.
So add a little big ball to the little ball. And some breathing room for Bud Norris.
Downs goes deep for the second time. He has 4 runs batted in.
It looked like it was knuckling as it flew out of here.
Yeah, it sure did. Bogusevic is 0 for 2. There's strike 1. So Carlos Lee was injured Friday night, and that has given Matt Downs a chance to play. This is his 3rd straight start. That's great timing. Swing by Bogusevic makes it 0-2. Downs putting up nice numbers here, playing for Carlos at first with 2 homers in 2 games. Murphy backhands. Nope, he doesn't. It goes under his glove and on through into right center field, and Bogusevic reaches. It's an error on Murphy. That's his 5th already.
He's kind of coming unraveling for Dickey here, a little bit of his own accord, and a fair bit of it because of the defense behind him. A pop-up not caught, now ground ball misplayed by Murphy.
That gives Chris Johnson a chance to bat. Chris 0 for 1 with a walk, and that's ball 1. Now, you talked about the perilous nature of a knuckleball pitcher, and usually base runners can really create all kinds of difficulties with the knuckleball being so unpredictable. Pass balls, wild pitches, stolen bases, things of that nature. 1 ball, 1 strike, and it seems there are a lot of softly hit balls when knuckleballers are out there. It's hard for hitters to square it up and hit it a long way, as Downs just did. Fouled away, 1-2.
Take the spin off of it so that the ball kind of reacts to the air currents, and it has to be a fun pitch to throw. You know, you're kind of a zen, like, I'm just going to turn it loose and send it on its way, and whatever happens, happens.
Exactly. I'm not in control of it anymore. It's not my problem.
Knuckleballer will tell you that's bunk. I still, the way I release it, I could get a feel for it in any given night and have a pretty good idea that's going to dart this way or that way, but still very unpredictable.
Well, the inning started with soft hits. Schaefer with a soft opposite field liner, and then the pop fly hit by Lowry. Now the other way. Still 1-2 to CJ. He's the 7th Astro to bat here in the 6th inning. Dickey had 5 no-hit innings when it started. Boston's pounding Oakland 11-6 at Fenway. David Ortiz has hit a couple, giving him 6 home runs. Ooh, Bogey takes off. Now Dickey steps off, throws to Murphy, run down, and Davis tags him out. He took off early, and the Mets were wise enough to pull off the play, but Downs with his 2nd home run in as many games makes it 3-0 Houston.
Is brought to you by Hyundai. It's a fuel efficient, affordable, stylish, and safe. It's probably a Hyundai. And by AT&T. Find out what's possible with products and services from AT&T. Rethink possible.
Beautiful downtown Houston, Texas, on a Monday night, and it's 3-0. This stadium energized by the Astros' 3-run sixth inning, including the 2-run homer by Matt Downs under that archway there. And now Bud Norris goes to work in the 7th inning. David Wright has struck out both times tonight. Looking in the 2nd, swinging in the 4th. 3 hits for each club. And ball 1 for Norris. We were checking over to the Astros radio booth to see if Brett Dolan was doing the play-by-play when Matt Downs hit the homer, and he was not. Dave Raymond was doing that inning. So Brett still has not called an Astros home run all season long. Liner out to center field, in for a hit. And Wright gets it started here in the Mets' 7th inning with a single for a 7-game hitting streak for David. So Brett Dolan,
look how much he's aged.
Well, he's left now, but he was working in the middle of Dave Raymond on the left and Milo Hamilton on the right, and he's gone over 280 Astros at bats this season without calling an Astro home run.
He needs to get in the gym.
Ike Davis has bounced out twice. Baxter's on deck. 78 pitches for Norris. There's a smash into right field for a hit. Now back-to-back singles for Terry Collins' club. Now Baxter coming up. We go to Greg.
They've got a lot of things going on this weekend. Pink in the Park Week supporting Methodist Cancer Center starts this weekend to raise awareness for breast cancer research. Join the Astros on Sunday as 10,000 will receive a pink yoga mat, and Monday 10,000 fans will receive a pink pashmina scarf, both courtesy of the Methodist Cancer Center. Root now. Buy your tickets at Astros.com. It's a good cause.
Very good cause. Luncheon coming up, Pink in the Park on Friday. Mike Baxter with runners at first and second is 1 for 2 in this game. Chris Johnson in tied at third on Baxter.
A couple of good solid line drive hits here to get the Mets' 7th inning started. And now an errant fastball high probably has Doug Brocail's attention in the dugout. As I mentioned in Bud's last start, sailing along through 4, and then boom, 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 got ambushed in the middle innings. A little bit later in the ball game here, and Bud giving no indications of losing his stuff. But worth keeping an eye on, of course.
He gave up 5 in the 6th at Milwaukee. And Acosta's warming up for the Mets, and now falls behind 2-0 on Baxter. That one not close either.
And this, this happens a lot with a pitcher, and I'm not crawling inside of Bud's head here, but just guessing. You're going along, you're in a scoreless game, and you're matching the other guy, and it's just a matter of getting the next hitter. Get the next hitter. Just focus on that one pitch. Now you've got a lead, and all of a sudden your mindset has a tendency to change to where, I've got to protect this lead. And with a couple of base runners, all of a sudden you become a little gun shy of the strike zone, perhaps. Just got to keep making pitches.
Great numbers. Torres is on deck.
Keep doing what you've been doing all night long.
Well, back and it's 2-1. Bud gave up homers to Corey Hart and Ricky Weeks in that 5-run 6th inning last time out. He gave up a total of 3 long balls in the game. Now it's Wilton Lopez on the left, Wesley Wright on the right in the Astros bullpen.
.82 pitches for Bud. It is muggy in here tonight. A little on the warm side.
It's only his 2nd start at home this season. The Astros pitchers have done much better at home than on the road, with an ERA of 3.00 at home, 4.97 on the road. Swinging and missing, and that's strike 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Baxter. Baxter last year had a left thumb injury in spring training. Didn't get a whole lot of at bats. 64 AAA Buffalo, 34 for the Mets. He was was up very briefly with San Diego in 2010. Just 8 at bats that year. To right field, Bogusevic. The runner at second, right, tagging, and there's the catch, and the throw will go into second. Both runners moving up. The throw is offline, and it's a long out, number 1 for Baxter, but Wright got to third and Davis to second. It was deep enough.
Great base running by Ike Davis. Realized that ball was going to stay in the ballpark, and clearly an outfielder would be able to get under it, so he knew he wasn't going to score. So he hustled back to first. Bogey was kind of back on his heels as he caught that ball, and that allowed Davis to get to second base, even though he's not a real speedy guy. Good heads-up base running.
And it could be quite meaningful if the Mets can get these 2 runs home.
See right there, he recognizes, no, that's going to be caught. Gets back to the bag. Bogey had a long throw to make.
Andres Torres is the batter. He struck out and hit that line drive to left center, and Buck made the great catch.
Torres a couple of years ago with the Giants had one of those, where'd that come from years? He had 16 home runs. Did a lot of really good things for them at the top of the order. Their World Series year, and it was really no indication that he was capable of doing that.
Well, there hasn't been much since either. Had 4 homers, 19 runs batted in, and 348 at bats last year.
It's part of the ingredients, isn't it? The recipe of a championship year. Guys come up and have big years out of nowhere.
That is so true. So that 2010 year, 343 on base average. He stole 26 bases and 33 tries. Hit well in the postseason. Is looking like a career year at this point for him.
Big moment in this ball game. As Bud works here in the 7th. Mets have just 8 outs to play with, so the Astros will trade a run for an out here. Keep the infield back.
Norris is due up third in the bottom of the inning. Bud's missing with the fastball quite a bit in this inning. It's 3-1.
I just saw Jason Castro point to his left shoulder, telling Bud to keep that front shoulder closed. Flying open a little bit. And when you do that, you tend to throw the ball up and away.
Doug Brocail watching carefully here with Tolley on deck.
Right now it appears that he has better command of his slider than fastball. And that may be a trust thing.
3-2.
That's part of the catcher's job too, to recognize, even though the situation may call for a certain pitch, but if you get the sense that your pitcher doesn't have confidence in that pitch, he's probably not going to execute it. So if you could, if you think, well, he's going to make a better pitch with his slider, even though I think we should go fastball here, probably ought to call the slider.
Well, he didn't have a very good swing at that last one, so they may come back with it. Torres chops one to the right side. Downs can't make the play on it, and a run scores. Got his glove on it as he moved in front of Altuve. Made the aggressive break for it, but Altuve was right behind him.
Yeah, I think that's just lack of experience, not having played a lot of first base. There was a game or a play the other day where he strayed a little far on it. Today there was a play earlier where I thought he did a real nice job staying home on a ground ball to the right side. This time, though, the aggressive nature took over, and clearly a play that Altuve would have been able to make. That just comes from not having a lot of time out there at the position. You can see the frustration on Downs' face, and I don't think it's as much as because he missed the ball as the realization that Altuve would have had that.
Split second decision. He has not played a lot of first base, so Bud Norris now pleading his case with Brad Mills, it would appear anyway, with runners at first and third, 1 run home. And Tolley coming up. Bud staying in to face Tolley, who singled to right in the 5th inning and is 1 for 2. And if Brad Mills can get one more out, from Bud, or a couple more outs from Bud is what he needs, and he can pinch hit for him in the bottom of the inning. If not, he has Lopez and he has Wright. 6 1/3 for Bud. Tolle, a tough customer. He has a .412 on base average. He usually puts the ball in play. Tolle, 25 years old, from Breeze, Illinois. Fastball foul away. So Bud made the adjustment. Got that heater into the zone where Tolle went for it.
I'm trying to throw two-seamer running down and away, hoping to get a ground ball to get out of the inning.
Bud's 13 and 13 in his career at Minute Maid Park with a 4.08 ERA, and he is the #1 pitcher in Minute Maid Park history in strikeouts per 9 innings among starters, 8.84. Lucas Duda, who was sick before the game, is in the on-deck circle. Dickey Spadu up next. Phillies rallied with 2 in the bottom of the 8th, and they beat the Cubs 6-4. Chad Quall's the winner. No balls, 2 strikes. Jonathan Papelbon got save number 8. But the Phillies 11 and 12. That's their first losing month since June of 09.
Finally scored some runs.
Even though Tolle's behind 0-2, he had an 0-2 count when he singled the last time up.
It seems like his whole at bat is a 2-strike approach.
Yeah.
You know, he just short stroke, doesn't overswing.
Didn't go up the ladder.
95, one of Bud's best heaters.
1-2 to Tolle. Tolle's a .276 major league hitter. Pat Corbin in Arizona beat Miami at Miami today 9-5, tagging Mark Burley with the loss. Burley's 1-4.
Good try, boy.
2-2.
Good try. Could have been your double play right there if he goes after that one. And again, Cedarstrom has not been very generous down tonight, so he's been consistent. You see on Fox Track, looked like a good pitch. But
that was good.
Gary's been very consistent.
Torres drew a look from Norris. Davis the runner at third. 6 hits for the Mets, 3 for the Astros. Tolle looks at it. It's ball 3. This is a very tough at bat for a number 8 hitter. Full count. 10th in the league in batting average right now. Davis and Torres, the base runners, with the 3-2 pitch coming and 1 out, and Duda on deck. Mets have come from behind in 7 of their 13 wins. They have 5 wins in their last at bat and 3 walk-off wins this year. They have really had the magic.
He almost did.
Oh, and he threw low, and wow.
There's a whole lot of almost going on there.
And Matt Downs saved a disaster in the inning with a tremendous play. A 1-hop throw, he backhanded it.
If Bud just sells this a little bit longer, he would have had him. That's always a tendency on that fake to third, back to first move for a pitcher to want to do it quickly. And really, if you do it slowly, that's where you might catch a guy drifting too far off the base.
It was almost 3-2 with a runner at third and 1 out. Runner going from first, and it's a little chopper. Norris will tag Tolley. 2 outs. Torres to second.
A nice play by Bud coming off the mound there. If that gets past him, a run might score. And a tough read for the base runner Davis. A little chopper out in front of home plate. Nice to be able to get that out without having to make a throw.
Tolley tagged out. Now it's Lucas Duda. Pinch hitting for R.A. Dickey. Dickey in 6 innings, allowing 3 hits, 3 runs. He had 2 walks, struck out 6 through 77 pitches. Duda has hit .256 with 4 homers. He's driven in 13. He's had 78 at bats. He's 0 for 1 as a pinch hitter. And the infield has shifted around, playing him very much to pull. Strike one.
Duda has never had an at-bat off Bud Norris. This is his first look at him. Advantage Bud. Manny Acosta, the right-hander, warms up in the Mets bullpen.
Duda had a 4 RBI game in Colorado 2 days ago. Dickey's 77 pitches. He threw 55 for strikes. It's 1-1. Duda's hitting .321 in his last 15 games with 10 runs batted in. Lucas from Fontana, California, went to USC. 7th round pick of the Mets in '07. He drove in 50 last year and 301 at bats for the Mets. It's 1-2.
Well, he gets a lot of swings and misses from left-handed hitters at that slider.
Pitch number 100 will be coming. Well, it's already been thrown. Okay, we have a little discrepancy. 66 for strikes. Neuenhuis is on deck. Norris making his 5th start of the year, shooting for win number 2. And missing for ball 2. That call has not been there during this game.
Difficult in this situation for Duda to sell out, but he's got to be thinking that slider. That's been the go-to pitch for Bud against these left-handed hitters tonight.
Good crowd tonight at Minute Maid. Now ball 3. Full count for Norris.
Don't have to give in here. You got a base open. And that's when you have to just focus on the situation, because a lot of times when you're out there thinking, well, if I want this guy, they're going to come and get me. But you can't allow that to cloud your thinking and be too aggressive in the strike zone against a dangerous hitter.
Ball 4, and he does walk him to load the bases and bring up Neuenhuis. First walk for Norris.
Tough decision here for Brad Mills. This guy's been in charge of this game all night long, but he's worked awfully hard in this inning, thrown a lot of pitches. Got his lefty right ready out there in the bullpen.
Neuenhuis singled the last time up. He's 1 for 3.
You saw Brad's decision. The clap of the hands. Go get him.
Neuenhuis struck out looking in the first. He grounded out in the third. Davis at third, Torres at second, Duda at first. Sliders in the dirt for ball one. Tejada's on deck. Mets have 6 hits. They've all been singles.
Slow down a little bit. Right about now, Millsy's thinking, I wish I would have got him out there and got him.
That's a tough call.
Yeah, it sure is. It's not an easy decision. Wesley has not necessarily been on his game of late. Don't know what Collins is going to do if he counters with a right-handed pinch hitter.
Strike makes it 2-1. Scott Hairston, a good bench player, available tonight for the Mets and others.
Nunes looked like he was taking all the way there. That's a situation where he should have been looking to swing.
That's a big call.
Well, that's kind of back to the beginning of the game where Bud was throwing that high fastball up there, and the Met hitters just would not offer at it, and Cedarstrom was calling it.
2-2. Very enthusiastic crowd tonight, really into this game. Shot into right field. That'll score 1, and the Mets are going to try to tie it. Here's Bogusevic throwing to the plate, and the game is tied. Throw to third, not in time, and then on into second. Neuenhuis, without a play, went on into second base. Neuenhuis comes up with a 2-2 pitch he likes. Smacks it into right field to give him 8 runs batted in, and the game's tied 3-3.
A slider that had been Bud's best weapon against the left-handed hitters all night long. Failed him there. He just didn't finish it, left it in the strike zone, and unfortunately he's going to leave this game tied. And the way Duda was taking those fastballs, maybe he just figured he was going to get a slider hit eventually. No play there, no play there, and CJ forgets about Neuenhuis, and he hustles into second base. Would have had a shot at him.
Took a low throw, and then, hitter Neuenhuis made it into second without a play on him, and it's 3-3. We'll be right back. second and third, 2 outs. Wilton Lopez, the pitcher, against Tejada, who hits one on a line to Chris Johnson.
Almost came out the other side.
Almost did. A lot of white showing, and it's tied 3-3 in the 7th.
Hey Astros fans, Chevy is proud to present a new show called Chevy Hometown Kids. It's not about the score, it's about the experience. So tune in each Saturday at 10 a.m. right here on Fox Sports Houston, or visit hometownkids.tv for more information. Bill?
Thanks, Patty. Good to see a lot of kids and families out here tonight, and they are really into this ball game. It's tied 3-3 now, with Manny Acosta coming out of the Mets bullpen with an 0-1 record. High ERA of 9.31.
Well, and walks, right? 9 walks in 9 2/3 innings. That is not going to get it done. 3 home runs and a batting average against of 308.
Chris Johnson leads it off. He was at the plate when Brian Bogusevic was thrown out to end the last inning, trying to steal. There's ball 1. So for R.A. Dickey, no decision after giving up 3 hits, 3 runs in 6 innings, walking 2, fanning 6. Bud Norris also no decision. 6 2/3 innings, 7 hits, 3 runs, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts, a hit batter. And the bullpens will decide it. There's a strike upstairs to make it 1-1.
Yeah, crazy game. Nothing but zeros, and then each club throws a 3 spot on the board. A little shaky defense from both sides, not helping out. Costa, a hard thrower for his career. His fastball averaging right around 94 miles an hour. Slider and a changeup as well.
Falls behind 2-1. 108 pitches for Bud Norris, 69 strikes. Acosta turns 31 tomorrow. He's from Panama. Foul back into the upper deck. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Acosta was signed by the Yankees in '98. The waiver claimed by the Mets in March of 2010 brought him across town. He'd also been with Atlanta and pitched for the Braves in the big leagues in 07, 08, and 09. Had 44 appearances last year. That's a strikeout looking. 1 out. Number 7 for Mets pitching tonight, and Jason Castro follows. Castro twice has flied to left tonight. Oh, in that blowout in Colorado, Acosta was tagged for 7 runs in 1/3 of an inning. So he's allowed more runs than any other major league reliever, 14. And a game like that will pretty much do you in for months to come in the big leagues. It's ball one. As far as ERA is concerned. Justin Maxwell's on deck to pinch hit for the pitcher Lopez.
Yeah, tough to chip away at that ERA when you work an inning at a time.
2-0. Reiner Cruz has been down in the Astros bullpen for a few days now with a sprained ankle. And we are not sure about his availability. At the time that Brad Mills spoke with the media, he didn't know if Reiner would be available. There's Brandon Lyon alongside Wesley Wright now. 2 balls, 1 strike. And now 3-1 to Castro.
Like if you're Acosta, you want to walk around with a message board that says, yes, I have a high ERA, but I gave up 7 runs in 1 outing, and it was at Coors Field. Like a teacher sometimes will throw out that worst test grade.
Exactly. Fly ball, and the left fielder Neuenhuis comes in. 2 down.
Happy birthday to Phil Garner. 81 years old today, the old scrap iron.
Happy birthday, Gar. Where do you think he's hanging out?
Who knows? Probably waxing philosophical somewhere. Mark Sacamano made a brief pass through here. Kirsten Dunst, she's in love with Spider-Man. Muscola, the red-headed stranger, and the great Shorty Gallagher. Scrappy ball player from back in the day in his own right. He was probably the original scrap iron.
Justin Maxwell's a pinch hitter for Wilton Lopez, who threw 1 pitch and got an out. Maxwell takes it, strike 1. He's 3 for 10, including a homer as a pinch hitter in his first Astro at bat. And overall, he's had 21 at bats with 5 hits for a .238 average. No balls, 2 strikes.
He's a steady diet. There's Gar. He's a steady diet of breaking balls, does Justin.
Takes that one high, and it's 1-2 to Justin. The Astros have 11 pinch hits as a team and 38 at bats, including Maxwell's homer. Schaefer's on deck. Carlos Lee probably available to pinch hit tonight. Strikeout makes it a 1-2-3 7th for Acosta with 2 punch outs along the way, and we go to the 8th with the game tied. Mets 3, Astros 3.
If you're hitting the road yourself like a scout, take the Astros with you this year. Subscribe to MLB.tv today to see every Astros out-of-market game live online and on your favorite devices in HD quality. Visit Astros.com to order and get more details. MLB.tv. Baseball everywhere.
Well, Greg, you may have noticed on your monitor in that shot of the scouts right in the middle of the frame was Jim Fregosi, part of one of the biggest trades in Mets history. There's Jim here scouting tonight. He was involved in the Nolan Ryan trade when Nolan went to the Angels, and Jim came from the Angels to the Mets.
Jim, an outstanding shortstop with the Angels. And you know what Nolan did after the deal.
Wesley Wright comes in with mostly left-handed hitters due up in this inning. Here's one of them, Murphy. Murphy 0 for 3. And he hits this one to left field. Travis Buck. 1 pitch, 1 out for Wright. That was the pattern set by Wilton Lopez, who got Tejada on 1 pitch on the line drive to third.
So is that a 1-pitch outing for Wesley Wright with the dangerous David Wright coming up next? It happened awfully quickly. Brad Mills. He's got Brandon Lyon warming, and then he's got Fernando Abad behind him.
And more left-handed hitters coming up, Davis and Baxter, and then switch hitter Torres after Wright. But Brad Mills will make this move here with the score. Mets 3, Astros 3. Back in a moment.
On Fox heads to Talladega to take on the big one as defending champion Jimmy Johnson leads the world's best drivers in a chase for the checkered flag. Fox Sports is proud to bring you exclusive coverage of Sprint Cup Series racing with the Aaron's 499 live from the Talladega Superspeedway Sunday at 11 a.m. Central Time. I love that. 499. Everybody does 500, so they'll do 499. You won't forget it. That's the point. Back to you guys.
Brandon Lyon 0-1, 3.38 ERA. Comes in with 1 out facing David Wright. Wright is 1 for 3. Scored a run. Looking at strike 1 from Lyon. While Big John Roush gets loose in the Mets pen. Wright is 1 for 9 with a homer against Lyon. He was 1 for 1 with a walk or a couple walks against Wesley Wright. Looks at the curve, and it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count.
Brad didn't play the matchup game yesterday. Didn't bring Wesley in to face Votto or Bruce. And it kind of blew up on him, and then last inning things didn't pan out. So I think he's all right. Never mind. I'm just going to bring my lefty to face my lefty, and then I'll go to the righty. And if need be, Abad will probably come in and face Davis.
1-2. As Lyon snaps one off. Brandon pitched last on Saturday in Cincinnati. 1 hitless inning. Just off the edge, and it's a 2-ball, 2-strike count to Wright with Davis on deck. Astros relievers 3 and 5 with a 3.48 ERA as a group. Curveball is hit on the ground over to Tim Tuffle. Mets 86 team that beat the Astros in the hard-fought NLCS in Game 6. The Platooning at second base with Wally Backman on that club. Inside, Wright started to pull the trigger and then took it. Now it's 3-2. David's drawn 16 walks this year. That's fourth best in the league. And he looked at strike three. That's the third time he's punched out tonight, twice looking.
Convinced himself he was going to get a heater there, and Brandon locked him up with a good breaking ball right over the heart of the plate. And indeed, it's going to be a third consecutive one batter appearance out of the Astros pen, as Lopez got one, Wright gets one, and now Brandon Lyon gets one.
So in this 3-3 game, 2 outs quickly in the 8th. And he got one out in the 7th inning with 2 men on in a tie ball game from Wilson Lopez. 1 out here in the 8th from Wesley Wright. 1 out from Brandon Lyon. Now he goes to Fernando Abad.
Yeah, back up in the minor leagues, and Friday in Cincinnati he gave up back-to-back home runs on back-to-back pitches after giving up a deep drive to the center field wall. So there was no mystery for the Reds hitters against Fernando in that outing. Tonight he comes on at a critical time in a tie game to face Ike Davis.
Davis singled in the 7th inning. He's 1 for 3. Then he came around to score.
There's a breakdown this year on Ike Davis versus left versus right. For his career, he's a .254 hitter against left-handed pitching.
Abad delivers his ball 1 to Davis with Baxter on deck, another left-handed hitter. Abad, 26 years old, from the Dominican Republic. Ground ball and on through into right. But Davis gets something going with 2 outs for the Mets.
Baxter's going to be called back, and it looks like Scott Hairston coming out of the Met dugout.
Well, Hairston coming up for Terry Collins will bring a .250 batting average. He's played a lot. He's had 44 at bats, 2 homers, 7 runs batted in this year. And he has hit for the cycle in a game this year. Altuve was stuck when he went to dive. Fernando Rodriguez out in the bullpen. Yeah, he just came to a grinding halt there as he went into that dive.
Castro out there to chat with Abad to buy time for Fernando Rodriguez. Wow. We'll see. He's not going to give up that advantage. He's going for it.
4 straight pitchers have come in to face one batter. Now number 5 will enter the game in the relief corps for Houston in a 3-3 affair. Back in a moment. Davis at first and 2 outs, and the bullpen moves continue. Pitcher number 6 will be coming in for the Astros. The best record against the Mets all time in the National League belongs to the Dodgers. The Braves a couple percentage points behind, and the Astros at third. 304, 256, a 543 winning percentage against New York. Fernando Rodriguez, who took the loss yesterday, giving up 2 hits and a run in 1 inning. And Phil Boudreau has been keeping the numbers here. 10 pitches have been thrown this inning by the Astros. They've thrown 32 warm-up pitches.
That's a lot of waggles before you hit your tee shot.
Yeah.
Well, Fernando, the losing pitcher yesterday, gave up a home run to Jay Bruce in the 8th inning in Cincinnati. Chance for a little redemption here this evening.
Scott Hairston's the batter. Pinch hitting he hit for the cycle on April 27th, 3 days ago in Colorado. Brother Jerry Jr. playing in the big leagues as well. There is ball 1 to Hairston.
Both of them have moved around, played with a few different clubs. I suspect sooner or later one of them is going to pass through Houston, don't you think?
Yeah.
You're kind of left out if you haven't had a Hairston play for your club.
True.
Good, solid ball players.
Oh no. Fly ball left. Travis Buck over on the warning track. Didn't have the carry. And in the 8th inning, it's no runs a hit and a man left. It's 3-3. back at home run by Matt Downs. 2 homers in 2 games. He hit one to right yesterday. Smacks this one out to left. A 2-run shot in the 6th inning. That made it 3-0 Astros. But the Mets came back with 3 runs on 4 hits in the 7th to tie it. That's where it is now. Manny Acosta working to Jordan Schaefer in the bottom of the 8th. Schaefer singled to left and scored in the 6th inning. Scott Hairston still in the game. He's playing right field. There's strike 1.
I don't know if this is a record or not. This is kind of fun. So the Astros have used 5 men out of the bullpen. They have thrown 13 pitches total. Those 5 pitchers.
0-2. It's specialist night.
It's amazing.
That's pretty rare. I don't know if we've seen Brad Mills do that. Wheel and deal for 1 batter with his relief pitchers. Can't remember him doing that in a game to this extent. 1 and 2, all managers will do that for 2 or 3.
Well, and that's, with having 2 lefties, you're freed up to do a little bit more of that playing the matchup game. And I think he was just frustrated the way things panned out yesterday. We tend to focus so much on lefties facing lefties and righties versus righties, but there's a lot of other considerations that go into it. Power pitches versus finesse guys. Certain guys are better suited to getting you a ground ball if you're looking to get out of an inning with a double play.
Right. Altuve and Lowry to follow Schaefer here in the Astros 8th. Little nubber right, cannot do anything about this infield hit for Schaefer, and he's 2 for 4 right off the end of the bat, and it went about 60 feet.
And this game is it's a trade-off. I'm sure you're talking to Brad. Obviously, you would prefer to be able to send one guy out there, feel very confident that he was going to finish the Mets off in the inning, but he was willing to take that trade that in case this goes extra innings, he's going to be short out there in that bullpen to keep the game tied, to give his club a chance to win. And when you have a 3-0 lead and all of a sudden it disappears, you want to give your club every chance they have to win the ball game, and that's what he's done by using the bullpen the way he has. Now, if the Astros don't get it done here in the 8th and 9th, maybe a little of the momentum, or the odds anyway, shifts over in the Mets' favor a little bit.
Altuve with David Wright moving in at third base. The throw goes over to first. Altuve put down a sac bunt in the 6th inning to get Schaefer to second, and he later scored. And that one made it 1-0. Now it appears he will be called upon to sacrifice again. Dave Clark came over and spoke with him. Altuve 0 for 2 tonight. Whoop. Pops up the bunt, and it's caught in foul ground by Davis. It's out number 1 with Lowry coming up next.
And they put the onus on Jordan Schaefer to try to steal this base now. So Altuve should have laid off that one. Leave it alone.
Lowry singled to left in the 6th inning. Jed is 1 for 3. Mets relievers have thrown strikes this year. They might have a high ERA, but they've allowed the hitters to put the ball in play. It's been their MO. And it's ball 1 to Lowry. Travis Buck is on deck.
Schaefer with a very modest lead right now. He'll get a little bit more.
Acosta with the slide step, and it's ball 2. A good battle tonight. The Astros got 3 in the 6th, 2 on a Matt Downs homer. The Mets responding with 3 in the 7th inning. Mets will have the bottom of their order due up in the 9th. Torres, Tolle, and the pitcher spot. They have Bobby Parnell and Tim Burdack in the bullpen. Burdack the only lefty for the Mets.
Jay could hook one in the corner here.
Calls it back, and it's 2-1.
Schaefer standing put there. 2 balls, no strikes. The advantage goes to the hitter, so you just kind of stay put. Lowry has the hole on the right side to shoot for. Feel like he's going to get a fastball to hit in that count.
Yeah.
Now 2-1. You might be inclined to try to steal the base. I think the thinking in the Astros dugout is, since we've used all these relievers, we've got to kind of be in go for it mode here.
Right. Running low on pitching. And assuming Brett Myers pitches the 9th in a tie game. Whoop. That throw was wide. So this could be a stolen base attempt by Schaefer. Lowry's been good at pulling the ball, batting left-handed.
So Carpenter remains out there, so he would be the designated give us 3 innings if need be in a lengthy extra inning game.
Carp pitched an inning yesterday. They're going, and he'll make it easily. The ball's dropped by Tolley. Schaefer gets the steal, number 8. And the pitch was ball 3. It's 3-1 now.
Like he got the best break, but the final analysis, he didn't need it because Tolley couldn't hang on.
3 balls and a strike to Lowry with Buck waiting.
Boy, outfielders really shorten up in right and center, especially right.
Up the middle and on into center field. Schaefer to the plate. Here's the throw from Torres. It's cut off, and the Astros lead it 4-3. Jed Lowry comes through with the RBI single after the steal by Schaefer. Lowry's driven in 7 this year. What a big hit for the Astros after they lost their 3-0 lead.
I really liked his chances in that at bat, the way he's been swinging the bat lately, and certainly once the count got in his favor. First 2-0, then 3-1. Costa comes in with a fastball. Lowry puts a real good swing on it. Schaefer with his speed, no chance to get him at home.
Gary Collins makes his way out to the mound. Lowry comes through, batting in the number 3 spot. Schaefer scores his 2nd of the night, 17th of the year. Gary Collins will go to the bullpen. Travis Buck due up next. And we'll be right back with the Astros up by 1, 4-3. Houston is brought to you by the Progressive Insurance Group. For a money-saving car insurance quote, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today. The wheels are spinning. I don't know if Brad Mills has made this many moves in an Astros game since he's been the skipper here, but he is really calling on all of his assets tonight. He'll go with a pinch hitter now, J.D. Martinez, because Tim Burdack, the former Astro lefty reliever, has been brought in by Terry Collins, and Martinez will be pinch hitting for Travis Buck. Burdack gave up a pinch grand slam to Todd Helton in Colorado yesterday.
Well, the Birdman works for the 12th time. His strikeout numbers are good, just a couple of walks. Did some good work here in Houston. When he struggled, it was with walks. Sometimes the command a little wobbly. Likes that slider.
Well, that's what hurt him yesterday as Helton whacked it out of the park. J.D. Martinez, .313 against lefties with a homer and 3 runs batted in. Comes up now. J.D. overall a .286 hitter with 3 homers and 19 runs batted in. 1-for-1 pinch hitting with an RBI. And he looks at ball 1. So he and Justin Maxwell have both been used in pinch hitting roles. Matt Downs is on deck. And 5 relievers have been utilized.
Terry Collins left the righty out there to face Lowry. Lowry's career path, or career record, indicates that would be the move. He's better from the right side than the left, but this year he's hit about .330 left-handed now.
Right.
So that's the tough thing for a manager early in the year. What do you believe? This year's numbers, the whole body of work?
True.
What your advanced scout tells you in his reports? What's your Ouija board, your magic 8-ball say?
2-1 to J.D. He was 1 for 10 in the Cincinnati series.
Should I pitch to Lowry? Outlook fuzzy. Ask me again later.
Oh, yeah. How many times did that come up?
Sorry. Can't wait. Got to have a decision.
1-run lead for the Astros. They've been out hit 8-5. The Mets will have the 7, 8, 9 hitters due up in the 9th. Fred Myers getting ready for that. Fouled away, and it's 2 balls, 2 strikes to J.D. Martinez. J.D.'s 4th in the league in runs batted in. Tied for 5th in on base average, and an excellent month of April for him. Downs on deck as the Astros try to boost that lead to more than 1 run. 1 charge to Manny Acosta. Strike, and he's caught looking for out number 2. Burdack, drafted by Kansas City, made his way to Houston in 08. He was a hard-working Astros lefty reliever in 08, 09, 10. Last year, more of the same, 72 appearances for the Mets. Usually they're brief, as is this one. He got 1 out, and it'll be Matt Downs next against Terry Collins' club right after this. That lead have reclaimed the 1-run advantage, and they've scored on a Lowry single. Now Bobby Parnell comes out of the Mets bullpen with no decisions, an ERA of 3.48, and very good strikeout to walk numbers, JD.
Yeah, he's got a big arm hard thrower. You know, can hit 97 on the gun. He'll sit right around 95 miles an hour. Got a curveball to go along with, and throw a lot of two-seam fastballs too.
Matt Downs ripped a 2-run homer in the 6th. That made it 3-0 Houston. He's 1 for 3. There's strike 1 from Parnell. Keith Hernandez, who's in the booth next door doing Mets television, said Bobby's backed off his fastball a little bit this year with very good results.
He likes a well-placed 95 better than a 97. Not sure where it's going.
Grounded to second. Murphy on over. To end the Astros 8th. They settle for a run on 2 hits. Leave them in. Now 1-run lead going to the 9th. 4-3 Houston. Tie with the single by Lowry. Matt Downs with a 2-run homer in the 6th inning made it 3-0 Houston, unloading off R.A. Dickey. And then the Mets came back. They got a 2-run single from Neuenhuis in the 7th. That tied at 3-3. The Astros succession of relievers taking over, and then the go-ahead hit from Jed Lowry, making it 4-3 Houston with a 1-out single in the 8th after Schaefer had reached on an infield hit and had stolen second. Now the closer comes in, Brett Myers. He's pitcher number 7 for Brad Mills tonight.
Well, Myers, a while there, wouldn't get any work at all, it seemed. Now getting out there a little bit more frequently and then save opportunities. He's been perfect so far, 4 out of 4. .59 the ERA, just 5 2/3 innings so far for the veteran right-hander.
Andres Torres leads it off. He's 1 for 3 with an RBI. Showing bunt, and he takes strike 1 with Chris Johnson charging at third. J.D. Martinez is in the game in left field after pinch hitting for Travis Buck. Torres 4 for 6 with a homer off Myers. He punches this one to shortstop. Lowry hurrying, throws on the run. Good accurate throw. He has played arrows baseball this year. Lowry came into this game with 70 chances for the season and no miscues. Josh Tolle is next. He's 1 for 3. Jordani Valdespin comes out to the on-deck circle to pinch hit for the pitcher next.
Ouch. Direct blow.
Yeah, it was. Tolle looks at ball 1. Watch out. Gary Cederstrom. That one on the right foot. Home plate umpires wear those special steel-toed shoes to protect them. 2 balls, no strikes for Myers, who last worked Friday in Cincinnati, getting save number 4, going 2/3 of an inning. That one comes in for a strike, and it's 2-1 to Tolley. Myers' career against the Mets, he's won 10, lost 6, and saved 3 with a 4.62 ERA. Drops in the hook.
Such good command of his breaking stuff. It's a lot of called strikes with his curveball. Hitters give up on it, just drops into the zone.
Bounced slowly to first base, but foul for Matt Downs.
One of the hopes moving Brett to the bullpen from the starting rotation would be, working an inning at a time. He'd be able to maintain his velocity, and so far that's been the case. Last year he averaged about 88 miles an hour with his fastball, up over 92 miles an hour now this year.
R.A. Dickey started and went 6 for the Mets tonight. Now watching to see how this game goes in the 9th inning with the Astros up 4-3. Mets have won 5 of their last 6. Foul ball. Myers last year worked 216 innings. He wound up 7-14 with a 4.46 ERA. He made 33 starts and 1 relief appearance. This is his first time as a closer since the 07 season with the Phillies, when he was 21 of 24 in saves. Tampa Bay got a run in the 12th and beat Seattle 3-2. Fly ball hangs out in left center field. J.D. Martinez over. 2 down. The Mets are wearing the cowboy apparatus on this trip. They went to Colorado and here, and they are going to do what Tampa Bay does and pick out a road trip and dress up a little differently. So David Wright had the big 10-gallon hat, jeans and boots. Terry Collins wanted to have some fun with that.
Yeah, I think Wright was actually one of the 3 amigos.
Was he?
Yeah. Sombrero and the big black mustache.
That would have been fun.
R.A. Dickey had a badge and a little toy gun.
Jordani Valdespin now, the pinch hitter for Parnell. Valdespin's a switch hitter.
Whoop. Cross up. Looked like a strike, but it looked like Castro was expecting a breaking ball there.
And it's ball 1.
Cross up, brain cramp, something went.
Yeah.
Went to skew there. Normally you don't see a cross up with nobody on base.
It sure happened. Valdespin takes that one. It's a ball. And it's 2-0 to the 24-year-old infielder from the Dominican Republic. He played at AA Binghamton and AAA Buffalo last year. This is his first time in the big leagues. Looking for his first hit in the big leagues. That's in for a strike. 2-1. Manny Acosta worked an inning and a third for the Mets, allowing 2 hits, 1 run with no walks, 2 strikeouts. Tim Burdack got the only man he faced with a strikeout. Bobby Parnell 1/3 of an inning, no hits, no runs. Grounded to Downs, and the Astros win it at home in the opener of this 9-game homestand. Brett Myers gets the save. They pull together after blowing the 3-0 lead. It was Jed Lowry's single in the 8th inning that gave them the win, as it turned out. Final score, Houston 4 and the New York Mets 3.